Right now, in the first 60 minutes after you open your eyes, your body is running a biological program. That program decides one thing: burn stored belly fat today or protect it. Most people accidentally vote for protection before they brush their teeth. Not because of what they eat, because of what happens inside their body in those 60 minutes. 6 biological stages, each one measurable, each one determining the fat burning outcome of the entire day. Stay with me because stage 3 is the one almost everyone gets wrong. It is a 15-minute window that most people waste every single morning. And it is the window that decides whether the first hour works for you or against you. Drop a comment right now. What is the very first thing you do in the first 5 minutes after waking up? Why 60 minutes decides everything. Your body runs on 2 modes: fat burning mode and fat storage mode. They cannot coexist. The first 60 minutes after waking is the only window in the day where your body is choosing which mode to run on. After 60 minutes, the decision is largely made. Your hormonal baseline for the day is set. 2 hormones decide the outcome: cortisol and insulin. When cortisol is handled correctly and insulin stays low, fat burning mode runs. When cortisol spikes unnecessarily and insulin rises early, fat storage mode locks in. 6 stages in 60 minutes determine which one you get. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology found the following. The hormonal environment established in the first 60 minutes after waking was significantly predictive of daily fat oxidation rates. Visceral fat accumulation over time was also directly correlated with what happened in this window. 6 stages, 1 hour, the rest of the day follows from here. Stage 1, minutes 0 to 5. The second you open your eyes, a specific hormonal event begins: the cortisol awakening response. Cortisol starts rising immediately. Not because something is wrong. This is your body's built-in energy mobilization system. Cortisol in this natural morning rise has one purpose: pull stored fat into circulation to fuel the start of your day. This is the system working correctly. Natural cortisol mobilizes fat, but here is where most people derail it immediately. In the first 5 minutes, if you reach for your phone, your cortisol does not follow its natural curve. Notifications, news, email, social media, all of these add artificial stress on top of natural cortisol. The curve spikes higher than it was designed to go. Cortisol that was supposed to mobilize fat becomes a fat storage signal instead. Here is why that matters specifically for belly fat. Visceral fat has 3 times more cortisol receptors than fat anywhere else in your body. It hears that signal loudest. It responds first. A study published in PNAS Nexus found the following. Mobile phone use immediately after waking produced cortisol spikes significantly above the natural awakening response baseline. The difference was measurable within the first 5 minutes. Fix for this stage: no phone in the first 5 minutes. Let cortisol rise naturally without artificial amplification. At its natural level, it burns fat. Amplified by your inbox, it stores fat. Now here is something most people never know exists. Stage 2, minutes 5 to 15. Between minutes 5 and 15 after waking, insulin is at its absolute lowest point of the entire day. You just spent 7 to 9 hours not eating. Insulin has had all night to fall. It is now at its floor. When insulin is this low, fat cells are maximally open. Fatty acids are releasing into your bloodstream right now. Your body is pulling from stored fat. Visceral fat is being mobilized. This is the fat-burning window. But it is fragile. Eating anything, especially carbohydrates, closes it immediately. Insulin spikes, fat cells lock shut. The window slams closed before it had time to do anything useful. Most people close this window within 15 minutes of waking without knowing it existed. A study published in Obesity found the following. Fasting insulin levels in the first 15 minutes after waking were inversely correlated with morning fat oxidation rates. Lower insulin during this window produced measurably higher fat burning. Fix for this stage: protect this window. Do not eat in the first 15 minutes. Drink water instead, 500 milliliters, a pinch of mineral salt if you have it. Let fat burning run while insulin is at its floor. Now here is the stage where most people make the biggest mistake of the morning. Stage 3. Minutes 15 to 30. Between minutes 15 and 30, your body is making its most important hormonal decision of the day. Continue burning fat, or shift to storage mode. What you do in this window tips the scale. 3 things extend the fat-burning window. Natural light exposure within 30 minutes of waking sets your circadian clock. Circadian alignment improves insulin sensitivity for the rest of the day. Water with mineral salt keeps insulin low and cells hydrated. A gentle 10-minute walk combines both simultaneously. You extend the fat-burning window while anchoring your biological clock. 2 powerful outcomes from one simple action. 3 things collapse the window. Eating carbohydrates spikes insulin immediately. Sweetened coffee or flavored drinks raise insulin without providing satiety. Stressful content on screens spikes cortisol artificially. Each of these tells your body to close the fat-burning window and shift to storage. A study published in Cell Metabolism found the following. Morning light exposure within 30 minutes of waking significantly improved daily insulin sensitivity. The morning fat oxidation window was extended compared to remaining indoors. Fix for this stage: water, light, and gentle movement in minutes 15 to 30. That combination extends the fat-burning window by 30 to 60 minutes beyond what most people get. Now, here is the moment most people accidentally destroy everything they just built. Stage 4. Minutes 30 to 45. Between minutes 30 and 45, cortisol reaches its natural daily maximum. This peak is supposed to happen. It is your body's energy mobilization signal at its strongest. At its natural peak, cortisol pulls stored fat into circulation. It prepares your muscles and brain to function at full capacity. This is cortisol doing its job correctly. But this peak has a vulnerability. Whatever signals your body receives at this exact moment are amplified. Natural light amplifies fat mobilization. Gentle movement amplifies glucose clearance from muscles. Stress amplifies fat storage signal to visceral fat. Caffeine on an empty stomach amplifies cortisol above its natural peak. This is why coffee before food during this stage is specifically damaging. Not because caffeine is bad, because caffeine plus peak cortisol, plus dehydration, plus an empty stomach is a damaging combination. It pushes cortisol beyond the fat mobilization threshold, into fat storage territory. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology found the following. Caffeine consumption during the cortisol awakening response peak produced cortisol levels significantly above natural peak. The hormonal balance shifted from fat mobilization toward fat storage. Fix for this stage: delay coffee by 90 minutes. Let cortisol peak naturally without amplification. At its natural peak, it burns fat. Amplified by caffeine, it stores it. Now here is the stage where fat burning transitions into your first meal, and the timing of that meal matters more than most people realize. Stage 5. Minutes 45 to 55. Between minutes 45 and 55, cortisol begins its natural descent. Insulin is still low if you have not eaten yet. The fat-burning window is still open, but it is beginning to narrow. This is the optimal time to eat your first meal. Not at minute 5 when insulin spiking cancels everything. Not at minute 70 when the optimal window has passed. Minutes 45 to 55. Here is why this specific window is ideal. Cortisol is descending from its peak. Insulin is still at a low baseline. Insulin sensitivity is at its morning maximum. The same breakfast eaten now produces a significantly lower insulin response than at any other time. Less insulin from the same food. More fat burning, more stable energy through the morning. But what you eat in this window matters as much as when. Carbohydrates alone spike insulin sharply even in this sensitive window. Protein first creates GLP-1, which extends satiety and keeps insulin lower. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found the following. Eating within the optimal post-cortisol peak window, with protein as the primary macronutrient, produced the lowest daily insulin exposure, compared to any other meal timing and composition combination tested. Fix for this stage. Eat your first meal between 45 and 55 minutes after waking. Lead with protein, at least 25 to 30 grams. Eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, smoked salmon. Anything protein forward before carbohydrates touch the plate? This is the meal that sets your hunger and energy pattern for the entire day. Now here's the final stage. This one is the one most people never think about, but it determines whether everything from the first 60 minutes compounds into fat burning for the rest of the day. Stage 6, minutes 55 to 60. By minute 60, your hormonal baseline for the day is largely established. Cortisol has peaked and begun falling. Insulin has responded to your first meal. Your circadian clock has received its morning signal. Your nervous system is running in either parasympathetic or sympathetic mode. Every hormonal decision your body makes for the rest of the day is influenced by what was established here. High cortisol baseline from a stressful morning means higher cortisol reactivity all day. Every difficult email triggers a larger response. Every traffic delay triggers a larger response. Every unexpected problem triggers a larger response. Each response sends a fat storage signal to visceral fat. Low cortisol baseline from a calm morning means blunted reactivity throughout the day. The same stressors produce smaller hormonal responses. Less cumulative fat storage signal across the entire day. One morning, one 60-minute window, influencing every hormonal response for the next 14 hours. A study published in Psychoneuroendocrinology found the following. Morning cortisol baseline established in the first 60 minutes after waking was significantly predictive of afternoon cortisol reactivity. Evening visceral fat storage markers were directly correlated with morning cortisol baseline. Fix for this stage. Review what happened in the first 60 minutes. No phone in the first 5 minutes. Water before food. Natural light within 30 minutes. Gentle movement before eating. Coffee delayed 90 minutes. Protein-led first meal between 45 and 55 minutes. All 6 stages handled correctly means a fat-burning baseline runs for the rest of the day. Even 1 or 2 stages handled correctly produces measurable improvement. 6 stages. 60 minutes. The fat-burning outcome of your entire day decided before you leave the house. Stage 1, minutes 0 to 5. Natural cortisol awakening response begins. Phone use amplifies it beyond fat mobilization into fat storage territory. No phone in the first 5 minutes. Stage 2, minutes 5 to 15. Insulin is at its daily floor. The fat-burning window is open. Eating anything closes it immediately. Protect this window with water. Stage 3, minutes 15 to 30. The decision window. Water, natural light, and gentle movement extend fat burning. Carbohydrates, sweetened drinks, and stress content close it. Stage 4, minutes 30 to 45. Cortisol peaks. At natural peak, it mobilizes fat. Amplified by caffeine on an empty stomach, it stores fat instead. Delay coffee by 90 minutes. Stage 5, minutes 45 to 55. The optimal eating window. Cortisol descending. Insulin still low. Insulin sensitivity at its morning maximum. Protein-led first meal here produces the lowest daily insulin exposure. Stage 6, minutes 55 to 60. Your hormonal baseline for the day is set. How this window was handled determines cortisol reactivity to every stressor for the next 14 hours. Here is what I want you to understand before you close this. You are not fighting belly fat. You are not running a calorie deficit. You are not counting anything. You are just managing 60 minutes every morning. The biology does the rest. Lean people are not disciplined all day. They are just running a different first 60 minutes. Now you know exactly what those 60 minutes look like. Start tomorrow morning. Just one stage. Come back and tell me what changed after 1 week. Which of these 6 surprised you most? Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one. If this changed how you think about the first hour of your day and your belly fat, subscribe to What Science Reveals. Real science explained clearly every single week. And if you want to see how morning habits and breakfast habits connect to everything we covered today, those videos are right here. See you in the next one.